What is going on, guys? Ultimate Deadpool here, back with another video. Today we've got something special today. I know you guys are sick and tired of Ninja Turtle videos, but let's not look at it like that. Let's look at it as a prop review video today. So we got two brand new characters in front of us right now. We got Slash and Leatherhead from the 1987's animated TV show of the Ninja Turtles. So we're going to break these guys down, do a detailed review, as well as their accessories as well, because these guys come with a ton of stuff. If you guys want these things, I'll leave a link in the description below if you guys want to try to get them. If I can find one, these things were actually very hard to find. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into things. Alright, so first off, let's start off with the accessories. So first off, you've got, Slash's swords, pretty basic. And then you got Pizza, Baby Slash, looks like a palm tree. I don't remember what this is. A gun that Leatherhead used. Two lobsters. A gun that Slash used. And then what I'm assuming is a rope and net, because Leatherhead in the 87 show was always shown to capture the turtles with either a net or a rope or something like that, and 4 alternative hands for Leatherhead. As you can tell, I haven't quite gotten to all of the accessories yet on opening them, but as far as quality and detail look, they look really good, so let's go ahead and move on. Alright, so first up we got Slash. Now this is the Slash from the 1987 show. So for some reason in that show they made him more of like a cyborg almost. This is basically exactly how he looked in the show. So you guys may recognize the name Slash because I have the Turtles in Time video game version of Slash. I want to stand him up so that way he can actually stand up correctly instead of falling forward. And then I also just recently acquired comic book Slash. So as you can tell, there's a drastic change in design between these three versions of Slash. You've got the cartoon look, or animated video game look, who has purple gloves, shredder size on his, or shredder blades on his hands, knee spikes, and sharp teeth, with a like blackish blue bandana. And then wood pieces for his shoulders, or for his shoulder armor, and a jagged sword. So that's for the video game version of Slash. The 1987's animated show has metal armor platings for his shoulders, a big-ass metal backpack piece, yellow spikes on his shell, a very simplistic skull belt buckle, yellow fingernails and toenails, different types of knee spikes for his knee pads, no sharp teeth, much more chubby looking neck, and a robotic eye, as well as a couple other warts on his face to show that he is a different type of turtle. So, all in all, this one's not that bad. And then you get onto this big monstrosity of Slash, where he's got sharp teeth, wooden shoulder armor, skulls and crossbones on his belt, along with ninja discs and the Slash. Sorry, my throat's dry. The Slash logo on his belt buckle, along with the shredder blades on his in his wristbands, with sharp claws, jagged sword, and another sworded accessory, along with his knee spikes. And warts covering his whole body. So, definitely a lot of variety between these three, but right now we're focusing on the 1987 show. So, just like almost all of the 1987 Ninja Turtles NECA figures, they all have basically the same mold. It's the exact same mold as this video game turtle. The exception is, obviously, the knee pads, the shoulder pads, and the hands are slightly different than the video game version. Obviously, he's got a new head mold. Pretty standard Slash belt, which some reason doesn't connect to the shell. I just now noticed that. I don't remember if it did in the show or not, but for some reason the figure of him does not have the belt go on the shell. So again, I would have to fact track that and make sure that that's actually something that they did in the show. It may have been. I don't remember. Because Slash in the show in the original '87 show only shows up for like maybe 1 or 2 episodes, and then he kind of goes away. And then I'm not entirely sure what this backpack piece is for. I don't remember exactly what it did in the show, but I do know that he did have it. Other than that, I'm gonna give this particular version of Slash a solid 10 out of 10 stars. I love the detail work. I love how faithful it looks to the original cartoon. I also like the colors that they threw in there. It's a very faithful adaptation to the original Slash from the 1987 show. Although, in full-on dispute between which Slash that I have is better, I'm going to pick Big Boy over everybody because this just looks so badass. And no offense to 1987 Slash, he looks like a dork to an extent. Simply because of the weird facial expression that he had. Plus, he had, minorly dull teeth anyway. And he was not to be mean, he was portrayed as a very stupid character in the show. Because they basically said, hey, you're not a smart character. That's how you are. And to be fair, Slash was never really a smart character in the comic books anyway, to the best of my knowledge, or to the best that I can remember. So it fits his character, but at the same time, this is definitely a faithful adaptation of that. It looks really good. I say again, solid 10 out of 10 stars. The joints all move really well. The actual posability is top notch all the time. The amount of accessories that Slash gets is really cool and faithful, and also just some of the stuff that the overall look just looks really, really good. So I'm going to give Slash a solid 10 out of 10 stars. Alright, now we got Leatherhead. Now, for those of you who may not know, Leatherhead was actually one of my favorite characters from Ninja Turtles, but not this particular version. In the 2003's Ninja Turtles show that they did on the 4Kids network, they changed Leatherhead back to what he was supposed to be from the comic books, a actual ally to the Ninja Turtles as far as I remember. Now, I don't remember if he was an actual ally to the Ninja Turtles, but I know he does help them from time to time. And he does help them a lot in the show. He's actually a vital character in later seasons. But for the first few seasons, he was not there. Which is fine. I believe they kind of teased him in season 1, and then in season 2 is when you actually meet him. But this is going off of the 1987 show, as I said earlier. And I like this version of Leatherhead. I prefer the 2003's version of Metalhead, just because A, that's what I grew up with first, and B, it just seems like such a more interesting character, because this guy is literally just a trap master, essentially. From what I remember from the show, he was like always trying to hunt down the turtles. He was always catching them in nets and whatnot, and he had this really weird accent, like a southern Florida style accent, because he's a Florida swamp gator. At least that's what he calls himself all the time. And as funny as he was, because he did make me laugh several times in the show, my favorite line is when he's fighting the Rat King, and the Rat King throws a bomb. He's like, "Oh, I crushed this silly thing." He smashes the freaking bomb with some piece of metal. The bomb explodes. He says, "This silly thing, she crushed back." He falls backwards in defeat. I love that scene. That is one of my favorite scenes with Leatherhead. So when I saw that they made a NECA Leatherhead, I'm like, oh, that is so cool, because I love Leatherhead as a character. He is one of my favorite Ninja Turtles characters. At least the 2003's version, and to an extent the 2012's version, but we won't get into that. So, when I heard that they had done a 2-pack of Leatherhead and Slash, I'm like, you know what? I've got virtually every version of Slash. I don't have a Leatherhead, except for the 2003 one, which I found in that box from my post yesterday. So again, if you guys want me to do a review or kind of showcase all of those figures that I found, plus ones that were not included in that photo, let me know down in the comments and I will gladly do so. Or I may do so in the future as soon as I find all of them that I used to have. So let's go ahead and start breaking down Leatherhead. So I put him in this pose because he's always shown to be a big tough guy in the show, which is, you know, fitting because he's a big ass alligator mutant. So for starters, his tail does come off. I'm not going to pop it off because it's a ball joint and it was a pain in the ass to get it shoved in his ass, essentially. He's got a swamp hat, very fitting. Tattered sleeveless jacket, which I think is again fitting. He's got these hooks. Now, he does come with a couple of accessories for like chains and whatnot. So I don't know if those are for like his hands or whatnot. So I'll have to look it up online and see what those are actually used for. But one of my favorite details of this thing is his mouth can actually open. I think that's a really cool feature that they included, and I'm really happy that they did that because now whenever Leatherhead is on screen, his mouth can actually move in my videos instead of him just being like, oh, and his mouth is not moving. I like to have that level of accuracy as well as quality when I make my videos and stuff. For some reason, he does have gray underwear. And then, I don't know why they did the two-tone black and blue for his legs, but I don't remember them being like that in the show. I'd have to rewatch. I'm going to try to rewatch the whole show at some point in the future because I have all like 10 or 11 seasons of it. So I'm going to try to rewatch it at some point, and then I'll be able to clarify if it does have that color change. He also, for some reason, has two-toned green skin with the pale blue or like a light turquoise blue. So that's another cool thing. He's got this clip on his back. I'm assuming this is going to be for one of those like chain pieces or whatever. Again, I don't remember entirely, you know, what those pieces are for. They don't show it on the box, so I'm not 100% sure on what those are for. Really good posability with his arms. The joints are a little stiff, but that's because it was like brand spanking new in the box, so the joints are extremely tight. But that's okay. I would rather have stiff joints than very loose joints. The detailing on his jacket is really good. I really do like the torn sleeves look, as well as his actual skin, because if I'm not mistaken, this is supposed to be skin, so he's supposed to be shirtless, essentially. So, ladies, that's a bad joke. But I also really do like how the ruffles and stuff to show that his body is so big, he's essentially stretching out the jacket, which I think is a really nice detail, and I'm glad that they added that or something like that to the figure to show that he is a big guy. In the show, he is a big threat to the Turtles anytime he's on screen. Yes, he'll crack a joke here and there and make a fool of himself, but that's just because half the characters in the 1987's Ninja Turtles were, made to lighten the mood and, not have a whole lot of dark stuff in there because it was a kid's show. And back in the 80s, they couldn't exactly do darker stuff like that. So, really happy with this figure. Really nice detail work on his face. I'm just now noticing that. There's like a lot of really good details on his face as well. So, with Leatherhead, I'm going to give this, again a solid 10 out of 10. I'm not sure why and first, all NECA Ninja Turtle characters do this. They all have this two-tone type color. It's whether or not it's the video game stuff or the actuality figures, they always have two-tone colors for their skin, and I do not understand why. There are very few times when they don't have that. So like Slash here does not have that two-tone color, but the Turtles in Time figures do. The actual regular standard 87 Turtles do, and a couple of others. But most they always have this like two-tone type color on their skin, and I never understood why they did that. I think it's just supposed to add like depth, because otherwise they just, I guess maybe the creators thought it just makes it come off as more 2D, but it's not that big of a gripe. Like I said, all the turtle characters have, most of the 87 characters have that. Slash, oddly enough, doesn't look like he's got that. Oh, nope, he does. Okay, never mind. So for some reason, the back of his legs are darker, and then the front of his legs are lighter. I don't know why they did that. They also did it for the back of his head for some reason. So yeah, all the 1987 Ninja Turtle figures do have that. There may be like one or two that don't, but 97% of them do. Just a small nitpick. So Leatherhead and his accessories, all solid 10 out of 10. Once I actually look through all the accessories that he's got and figure out how do they work on his figure. And then, like I said earlier, posability and whatnot works really well. Really cool, and I'm actually going to use this as one of my display case pieces because I'm building a new display case specifically for all of my turtle stuff. So, yay. That's pretty much it for this video. There were several of you guys asking me when's Killshot gonna appear in more videos. Killshot will appear in a couple more videos, and I'm building up to something with him. I cannot say what it is, but I will say you guys are hopefully going to enjoy it. If you like Metalhead, you'll like Killshot. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. Thank you guys again so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Going through a lot of crap right now at home, so hopefully everything works out for here, and I will catch you guys all next time. Bye.